It has now snowed in all 50 states so far this winter. If you look at the updated seasonal snowfall totals through January 22nd, this does include all the snow with that historic snowstorm that fell yesterday all the way down into the coastal states. Yes, places like Houston into southeast Texas got 4 to 6 inches of snow. But man, once you swung into Louisiana, it just went gangbusters. They broke records dating back to 1895, folks. Areas got over a foot of snow in spots, and that continued across the South into Mississippi and Alabama. We had some even 11-inch totals there in Alabama. We had a 9.8-inch total in Milton, Florida, broke the all-time state record, shattered it. It not doubled the record, and that swung into southeastern Georgia and had very impressive snow amounts all the way into Myrtle Beach up the coastline. So that was an historic storm. And now we're coming off a cold January, folks. I mean, so far, this is your overall temperature anomalies for January, and we're still about 3.5 degrees below average, predominantly for the entire lower 48. So really the only areas it's been sort of normal and above average is far western areas of Oregon and California, and then right up into New England, especially there in Maine. But outside of there, it's been one system after another, and actually a pretty impressive cold spell for the first 3 weeks. Now, I think going forward, temperatures are going to moderate just a little bit. I think you're still predominantly going to be below average, but they're not going to be significantly below average as we try to come out of that Arctic air. And there's the impressive snowstorm that's continuing to pull off in the open waters. Now we're left with pretty clear skies, and it's been fairly dry back behind that Arctic front. And in fact, we're going to clear out big time again tonight. And a lot of those areas highlighted in circle, you're going to be producing record lows. I mean, it was 4 degrees. 4 degrees this morning in Lafayette, Louisiana, with all that snow on the ground. Even tomorrow morning, at going into Thursday morning, yeah, we could still be looking for like 15 degrees there in the Florida Panhandle. That's crazy talk, right? That's extremely cold for that area with that snowpack and the perfect radiational cooling conditions. But you noticed, I mean, plenty part of the country is still producing some pretty cold air as we try to finally at least come out of that Arctic intrusion, that's severe Arctic outbreak that we just went through. So I think things are going to moderate at least a little bit. I think we'll still be on the below average side, but we're starting to get a little bit of a change with more of a Pacific flow coming off the Pacific, and that's typically a warmer flow. And as these winds turn around from the south southwest, we're going to start eating away of that Arctic high, and as it's slowly going to start to retreat further and further north, the deeper as we get. And it's also going to produce another area of low pressure of all places down there in Southern California, folks. You guys actually should start to get some opportunities of some rain coming back in the picture as we head into the weekend. And that's definitely a good sign with all those significant wildfires you've been dealing with, and it's just extreme Santa Ana winds. That gives you the idea. The first sign, this overall pattern is definitely going to be changing over the next week or two with these systems setting up in different places. So that's going to be, as this jet stream continues to kind of buckle here, and as it retrieves a little bit further north, it's going to put areas, say, into Southern California that has not been predominantly in the storm track. So yes, that definitely looks to increase your potential for at least precipitation back in the pattern, especially as we head into Sunday. And yes, we could be talking about some rain showers moving into Southern California and some snow into the higher elevations. We also have another system down there in Texas that should start to introduce some rain showers back in the picture as well. We're not talking snow or anything like that, because it's definitely not going to be cold enough. But we are producing likely a chillier rain during the day, especially south into South Texas, into Central Texas, heading into Louisiana, as you see that freezing line continuing to shift a little bit further north. And notice all the snow continuing for New England, a lot of the lake effect snow that continues to pile up. It's been a very impressive lake effect snow season, and I don't think that stops anytime soon. So we are expecting continued bounce with that cross-polar flow still setting up with rounds and rounds of lake effect snow. If you live off the lakes there, you're definitely going to be piling up the snow piles. But going into the water vaporimetry as we head into Sunday, you can definitely see there's little subtle hints of at least some precipitation coming back in the picture for the Southwest, those areas across Southern California, getting into Arizona, back into New Mexico. There's the flow coming back off the Gulf as we turn the winds around from the south and turning them into the southwest. So we're going to have those rain showers move back in the picture for the southern plains, and back into the southeast. We'll have a little bit more moisture to work with that moves across into the southeast for the weekend. And there's your overall temperature anomaly. So yes, they do moderate. They're not a rapid surge of well above average temperatures. You're still going to be on the predominantly colder side. It's just not going to be the Arctic air in place that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 or 5 days. Temperatures do somewhat moderate as we head into the weekend, going into early next week. But we also do, again, continue to have some rain showers with that low pressure center developing down there into Southern California. So this is definitely going to be increasing some precipitation in areas that just hasn't seen much of anything for the desert Southwest. Getting into New Mexico, we're talking the higher elevations like Flagstaff and Santa Fe should move back into the snow opportunities as we head into early next week, with the continued flow of the lake effect snow machine continuing to be alive and well along the Great Lakes and into New England. And going into that Wednesday timeframe, I think that's when we'll see a little bit higher precipitation, as there's definitely the temperatures do take a little bit of an uptick by then. So we'll have the snow into the higher elevations of New Mexico as well as into Colorado, and then we'll have another little storm system adding up to those rain showers and the rain totals down there in Texas and to Oklahoma, back into Arkansas, as well as into Louisiana. And again, notice the freezing line. It continues to lift a little bit further north. So by the time we head into the middle of next week, it's going to be well north of and heading up into the central part and north central part of the U.S. And we'll continue the continued flow off the Pacific down there further south as the subtropical jet stream gets a little bit more active. So we'll continue to introduce rain showers back in the picture again, even on Thursday for Texas, Louisiana, and back into those areas across the southeast. And again, the lake effect snow machine will continue to be alive and well. And that freeze line, notice the trend, right? All week long gets a little bit further north, the deeper into the week we go. But overall, it's still going to be on the overall cooler side. Not Arctic cold, but definitely cooler than what we typically are for this time of year in the month of January, which is already the coldest month. So it's definitely still going to be on the colder side for sure across a good part of the country. It just won't be like the Arctic cold that we're coming out of. So if you look at the snow amounts over the next 7 days, it's predominantly as the pattern just kind of relaxes a little bit, coming off that more of extreme basis over the last week. Now we're back into that lake effect snow that we're going to get across the Great Lakes and much of New England, and we're back to some of the higher elevation snow, back into the mountains of California, getting back into the mountains of Arizona, back into the mountains of New Mexico, there in Colorado. So we should be seeing elevated snows as well, and also increased precipitation opportunities for areas that just really hasn't seen much. Yes, those areas across the southwest and much of Southern California should at least get some rain showers. We're not talking about significant or any stretch of the imagination, but just talking about the idea of at least some rain. You do have at least some rain into the picture And that does include Southern California, Nevada, back into Arizona, and does include much of the Four Corners regions. And then we'll have, of course, the lake effect snow. And then, of course, we'll have the middle part of the country where they do have more of the Pacific flow with more water vapor to be able to tap into. So we could likely get some heavier rains if you add it all up from, say, Sunday to Thursday, for South and Southeast Texas, get there into East Texas, but especially there into Louisiana, could get some 3 to 4 inch amounts, no question, in the southern portions of Arkansas. That sneaks into Mississippi as well as into Alabama, likely a lot less, and then kind of bone dries up here into a good part of the Mid-Atlantic as well as into New England. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch the next update. Why I protect you before and after the storm.